Captain, we've been invaded by an evil robot!
Barry!
That really hurt!
Let me get the evil robot.
We destroyed the evil robot, but we've also... It's brought with it another evil robot and a disappearing captain.
Sorry.
That's
gratuitous arse shots there.
This is the evil robot amplifier.
We had a little fiddle with this about a month or so ago. This is still kind of my prototype sample that John Casher sent me about 6 weeks ago. Apart from a few kind of finishing details where he's kind of hacksawed bits in and out, which are going to look an awful lot neater when the new ones come. This is basically the correct evil robot now, so this isn't going to change in terms of tone.
Well, it's coffee time with Chappers and Captain. I'm using a Pocahontas mug today because we went and got fretted Americano coffee yesterday, and we kind of ran out of coffee juice from them, didn't we?
And I ran out. Oh, does that mean is that a cue?
No.
Okay,
no,
sorry.
We've been there already. We can't go there again, Captain. We've only
and I did the honourable thing. We didn't have enough mugs to make coffee for everyone, so I've gone without.
Oh, mate, you didn't tell me that.
Anyway, that's enough. Okay.
That's a tube.
This is a tube.
In America, in England, it's a valve.
It's a valve. And I'm holding here a 6v6 tube, and if you buy one of these amplifiers, straight out the box, it will have 4 of these in it. And we're doing some tone tests today to see how the amp sounds if we use different tubes. My friend John Casher, I can call him my friend now, can't I?
I think so. We had dinner with him.
We had dinner with John, therefore he is my friend.
We can't put that in the video.
So this is a 6v6 tube. You would have found these tubes in lots of early Fender amplifiers. Anything that was, I would say, like a small to mid-size amplifier, like a Champ or a Bassman or something like that. Now, this amp will come with 4 of them in there. It is a Class A cathode biased amplifier, and John Casher, the lead designer of this amplifier, told us over dinner when we were with him recently, because it's a Class A amp and it's cathode biased, you've actually got quite a bit of flexibility that you can mess around with the output tubes. So there's really no reason why, he said to me, there's no reason why you couldn't just have one 6L6 in there or something like that. So that gave me an idea for a video when we came back. So what we're doing is we're shooting this amplifier here with the first set of sounds you're going to hear with Chappers here is a pair of 6V6s. And then the second set of tones you're going to hear is going to be some 6L6s. Yeah. And the third set, it'd be a pair of EL34s. Preamp tubes are going to be the same in every single video. So now I do want to warn you guys, especially for guys that have never owned a valve amplifier before and have never changed a tube. A tube is, we call them a consumable. They're kind of a bit like strings on a guitar. Eventually they're going to need changing. Most of these amps are designed for you to change them yourself. So it's super easy to change a tube. It's basically just has some pins here and they slot up into a socket, and as long as it's pushed all the way in, kind of that's about as difficult as it is. Because this amplifier has what's called cathode biasing, it will bias. If you like, it will self-set the voltage that needs to go through the valve, so you haven't got to worry about necessarily using a set of valves with a slightly different impedance to the set that you're replacing. As a warning though, guys, valves get incredibly hot when they're being used. It only needs about 5 minutes of use for a valve to be way too hot to touch.
Just kind of like a giant light bulb.
Yeah, and to be on the safe side, I would leave it 20 minutes to half an hour of the amp being switched off before the amps are cool enough for you to go and touch and take out. So please do be careful. Use some common sense here.
Use a cloth or a bit of paper.
Yeah, but there you go. So that's what we've done. So let me hear what this bad boy sounds like with a pair of 6V6s. I haven't switched it on, I'm afraid, Rob, so it might take 20 seconds to warm up.
Well, let's count to 20.
Tell us a joke.
1. And I'll roll off the volume so you can hear it clean a little bit for you.
How does Phil use his evil robot when he wants to go from like a clean to rhythm to lead sound?
He stamps on a pedal. He uses a bad monkey.
Right.
And we have selected a pedal each. I'm a big fan of both of these pedals. We've got the Plimsoll and we've got the Rock Box.
Yes. So what we've got is we've got the Rock Box here set up as more of a volume boost. And we've got the Plimsoll set up as more of like a gain boost. So if I put the Rock Box in first. And now the Plimsoll. So typically that's how Phil will use the amp. He'll basically just gun it and then back off the volume if he wants it clean.
Yeah.
Kick in a lead boost if he wants.
It's exactly what I do with my amplifiers. It's
yeah.
the simplest way of working. It's the tried and tested method of using a little finger to do this. And hoping your knob doesn't come off like that. You know what, I really, really miss Phil X.
Do you?
I really miss Phil. I think we should beam into Fretted Americana and summon him just for a few seconds of Phil X goodness.
Why not?
Oh man! It worked! Oh,
Actually,
wicked!
yeah.
Wicked, man.
Do you think maybe we could like summon Phil X as well?
Oh, let's try it.
Let's try it.
Yeah!
That's amazing!
What's up, motherfucker? It's like home. There's no place like home. Oh, I feel like I've been completed in a special
It was good to
man
see him
way.
again, wasn't it?
It was great to see
He's looking
Phil
well.
again. Yeah.
He never ages.
Chappers and the Captain, take 5.
Now we're going to go and try the amplifier with a pair of 6L6s. These are the types of output tube that you traditionally find in louder American amplifiers, like things like a Fender Twin or a Boogie Dual Rectifier. What we should hear, the difference between these and a 6L6, a 6V6, is more output, and that allows the amp sort of, I think it breathes more, you know, you get more bass end, and it doesn't feel quite
more headroom
so tight.
too, I think.
Yeah, more headroom.
Safety first, kids. I'm using an earplug, and this is one I had specially moulded for Chappers' right ear, so that I can play this evil robot and not get ear destruction.
What do? I just stand like this. How does it clean up?
Sorry?
Yes, how does it clean up? Because it should be quite...
It'll clean up very... You can hear already it'll clean up nicely because it's got that kind of...
lot bassier?
It's got,
Or just a
I think it's got
different-
more high frequencies.
Really?
I think it's midier and high frequencies. And I think it's got a lot more
MIDI in it
headroom.
now?
A lot of headroom in it.
Did you say it's got MIDI in it?
No, mid range.
We haven't heard it with the Rockbox. So
No, I'm a little bit worried about that.
Are you? Let's put it into overdrive. Ready?
Changed key 3 times then because of the volume.
Oh,
That sounds good. What about the plimsoll?
Jesus! Actually, the plimsoll sounds better this time round. Maybe because the power tubes, I don't know, give it more headroom. The extra gain from the plimsoll just seems to come through, whereas with the 6v6s it was kind of like mushing it up a bit.
Yeah.
So
Incredible the difference in volume.
yeah,
A
seriously.
lot brighter, a lot more
You
cutting.
know the scary
through.
thing is as well, don't you? We're only using 2 6L6s.
You know what this
You
is?
could put 4 in this, and it would just
This is your live, and 6v6 was a really good bedroom time.
maybe.
Yeah.
And just you guys should know this. You don't have to be any kind of an engineer or anything to change tubes. You don't need a soldering iron. Let me show you a tube.
You just need to be a captain.
If you're kind of experienced, you don't need me to tell you this, but if you're not, see if you can see that. I'm sure Chappers will do a close up. Maybe I'll go close.
Go close.
See, that's a tube, okay? And in the back of the amplifier are just sockets that the tubes go into. So you just push them up. You can't really get it wrong because there's a little kind of raised bit of the plastic centerpiece, so it can only go in one way. So you put them in, and that's it. Just make sure they're in all the way. Honestly, it's like working with a 14-year-old.
I heard him go first.
Don't blame me. Every time I get to blame.
And the only thing that you do have to be careful with this, with any valve amplifier, these get incredibly hot.
Once
very,
you
very
use it for a long
quickly.
time, they get hot.
Well, even just for 5 minutes, they'll be pretty hot. So let the amp cool down before you start fiddling around. And just to be on the super safe side, always make sure the amp's not plugged into the mains before you start fiddling around. But yeah, these are really simple to change. If you've ever changed a light bulb, you can change a tube.
Yes.
Or a valve.
Yes.
Depending on, where are we? We call them valves, don't we?
We call them valves.
And when we went to America and we were talking about valves, there was a huge blank look with everyone we were speaking to until eventually Phil...
What, you doing some plumbing?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Until eventually Phil went, hey man, you mean tubes? Yeah, I mean tubes.
What's next?
Right, next...
Coffee!
Introduce it.
Oh, do you have to introduce it? Because that sounds incredible. We
It
don't need
does.
to introduce it.
Okay, so I've stuck a pair of EL-34s in here now. Rob's just had a little bit of a noodle. It is sounding good. EL-34s, I guess, are completely synonymous with Marshall. Have been used in other brands of amplifier, but those are the guys I think you'd probably most associate with EL-34s. So, again, only got a pair in here, so I'm not entirely sure how loud this amp's running. Somewhere around about 20 watts, I expect. But let's have a listen.
Just sounds beautiful. Sounds
great,
really,
doesn't
really,
it?
really good. If I had an evil robot, if I was lucky enough to own an evil Rob,
Hot.
I would have EL-34s in it.
Do you know what? I think this is what I was hoping that we would achieve with this video, because the amplifier itself is a big purchase. It's £650. You know, that's not
Which actually is a massive bargain.
It's okay. It's cheap relative to other tube amplifiers, but it's still a lot of money. These you can buy for about £20 a pair.
Yeah.
So, you know, one minute you can have an evil robot that sounds like an old vintage Fender amplifier. The next you can have an evil robot that sounds like a more modern Fender amplifier or a Boogie amp. Or you could have one that sounds more like a Marshall. It's kind of very cool.
let me show you some of the tonal variants you can get with my special Mojo powered Chapman ML1 here. Here's a bit of cleaned up call tapped action.
So that's no pedals, guys. You should
activate.
Okay.
Activate the other pedal.
You know what? The first one, the rock box, there was a Fernandez sustainer moment.
There was.
Maybe there's a bit of time for that later.
There is.
So
that's incredibly enjoyable.
You guys, I hope you've enjoyed listening to that. There is actually, I mean, to give you an idea, there's a ton more versatility you can do with this. One of the things I haven't done is THD make a little product called a yellow jacket, and that would that's a converter, so you can take a 9-pin tube like an EL84, and it goes into the yellow jacket, and that converts it to an 8-pin tube.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you could put EL84s in here if you wanted to. You in the last
this is all
video,
30 watts, isn't it? We haven't 18 watted any of this.
Well, I suspect with only using 2 valves rather than all 4, even though we're running it in the 30 watt mode, I think it's probably running it, it's actually giving us 18 watts.
All right.
So you need all 4 in there to do 30 watts.
You know what else you can do to change the tone dramatically?
What's that?
Is you can summon a giant afro building guitar playing shred demon. Ah! It worked!
Indeed.
It's Rabia Massad from Dorje, if you're Spanish. We're on tour with Phil X from the 12th. All the way through till some other time in June.
19th, isn't it?
19th, yeah. Come and see us. Buy tickets soon because they're selling out.
Yeah.
Play! We should put this through a 412.
Yeah.
See what that sounds like.
Yeah. It's really nice to play. Like, it feels nice.
Yeah. So what we've done here is we took the giant Massad from Dorje.
I love that.
And we've put the evil robot, Rob, through the 412 from an unknown brand, and just to see what it sounds like, because we like playing with things to see how they sound here at Andertons.
and it's fat.
The EL-34.
And we still got the EL-34s in this Evil Robot amplifier, and it sounds fat.
It's pH fat.
It's pH fat. Why don't you do some jazz, and then bring it up into some dirty, filthy funk stuff? Why don't you play the guitar part we wrote? Play the whole bit. So, what do you think?
It's really, really, really nice. Really fat, nice round sort of, especially with the rock box as well. It just feels really thick and saturated, so really...
It does that kind of Nuno thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you want to play a little tiny bit of Nuno?
A tiny bit of Nuno.
So you can get Nuno, you can get heavier rock stuff, you can get jazz, you can get crunchy blues, you can get Captain blues, you can get all sorts of music styles by changing the valves, whacking a good pedal in front of it, using a great guitar by Chapman guitars. You get some good tones. I'm going to turn you back into Captain now so we can say goodbye. Ah, good stuff, man.
Yeah, amazing. Really, really amazing. Love this kind of, I'm a bit of a, you know, I love experimenting with tube amplifiers and just generally seeing what you can do and seeing how stuff sounds like through different 412s. Interesting point that came up whilst I was just off camera. Actually, no, I wasn't. I turned into a beer while I was in my alter ego. If you guys are thinking to yourself, well, I like the sound of the 6L6 is better than the 6V6s, or the EL-34 is better, you know, why don't they make this as standard? Well, the reason it comes with 6V6s as standard, you mustn't forget, is that this is designed to be, it was based on an old Magnatone Troubadour amplifier. And of course, that's the output kind of valves that had. So that's why this amplifier has the 6V6s in it as standard. But as I said, it's such a low cost kind of mod to just fiddle around and put some different tubes in it. And because John has designed it to self-bias itself, you haven't got to worry about taking it to an engineer to get that done. So just follow the safety tips though when I told you how to do it.
So there you go.
What I will ask John Casher to do, and David, if you wouldn't mind asking him, we'll get him to do a little kind of written mod guide that tells you, you know, what socket you should put the tubes in if you want to change them around and things like that, because he told me over dinner that there are 4 sockets in there and they'll come preloaded with 4 valves, and if I want to just put 2 in, I should use this socket and this socket. I didn't bother to ask him why, that's just what I've done, but we'll get him to sort of formulate that and put that in writing so that you guys know what you have to do if you want to muck around with them. But there you go. So if you're watching this video in June 2012, we may have just received our very, very, very first shipment of Evil Robot amplifiers, but they're very, very low on the ground at the moment. So Apologies if we're out of stock at the moment and you need to wait a while to get yours. But if you're watching it in a few months' time, we'll probably have these in our warehouse ready to ship. There you go. Check
Up
that
on
one
Rob
out.
Chappers.
And I am Her Majesty's Captain Secret Service. Get on. Right.
Bye.
Bye.